Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Just doing some work here while I'm chilling, waiting for people to come in. If I can get it done. Because it's going to be one show where I take the side of the sisters. But we're going to wait for some people to come in while I'm doing this. It's so hot in this place. It's not even hot, it's just humid. It's just crazy here. How's everybody doing this evening? I was just going through Maki's channel, so I was in the mood for this kind of content. Unfortunately, this is going to be one where I'm going to have to go off on the brothers, man. The brothers they're dropping the ball, and I'm gonna have to backtrack on some previous statements and positions and just take the side of the sister. And it's a pretty big issue. I'm gonna be honest. It's a big issue that we talk about. I'm not gonna lie. You know what it is? It's maher. I think sisters should start charging high mahers, to be honest, because brothers have just been dropping the ball, and I kind of find it hard to excuse brothers given the level of BS I'm seeing from them in this regard of their just behaviors in general. Let's see if I can make this work. She said, "How much should we charge?" I give you a number, sister. That's different. I mean, it's not going to be like this crazy slam dunk that you think it is. I mean, I'm still going to be even though I think sisters should charge whatever they want at this point, I still think you need to be good wives. I still think brothers need to have access to your phones, but that none of that has changed. My position on how women should be in general as wives, sisters in specific, but in terms of maher, khalas. That's what the imam in the U.S. was suggesting, something like a $5,000 maher. Okay, so we might as well just get into it. And if people come, they come. If not, they can watch it later. So Abuamerican is somewhat of a business. I have a product. Excuse the background noise, guys. I'm working here. It's somewhat of a business. We're going to get into this right now. What caused this shift? And so because it's somewhat of a brand, somewhat of a business, I do business. I do one-to-one consultations. I sell books. I sell products and whatnot. And because of that, I have to do business with Muslims. I don't have to do business with Muslims, but I do business with them. And I have Muslim and non-Muslim clients. And this comes back to my post about Muslims just being cheap and ripping people off and always looking for the ahi discount and this type of stuff. And yeah, that's bad. This is bad. If you roll a bearing and you can feel that rubbiness in there, it's really bad. And so what's happening is in this business of mine is that brothers are always coming to me with this ahi discount BS, man. And it's bro, it's not even the ahi discount that gets me. I mean, I don't mind giving discounts. Let's put it like this. But when people want to come, they want to use your service and then not pay. They want to buy your products, use it, and then get their money back. It has, without fail, every single time been none other than the Muslims. And so it's how do I now justify brothers or defending brothers paying lower mahers when it's with me, they're going the cheap and easy route. So it's true. What sisters are saying is true. Brothers are treating this entire low maher thing as a cheap and easy scam that they can run to get a wife. And it's impossible at this point. I'm telling you, at this point, it's impossible for me to believe otherwise. No one will ever convince me differently. The sisters got this one right. Abuamerican was wrong. I'm not above saying I was wrong. I was mistaken. Sisters, you know what? You're absolutely right. If these dudes, if you give them a cheap maher, they're not going to appreciate you. They're not going to treat you well. They're not going to treat it well. It's just another scheme. It's just another scam. It's just another little like game they're running to try and get something cheap and easy and free. Now, if you want that guy and he proves to be a good guy and you want to like, you want to catch him, give him a break or whatever else, that's a different story. But in general, the average run him through the ringer. Get every single cent you can, because that dude, if he's trying to like negotiate maher, he's the same dude that like rips people off for their products and their services. 100%. I have a question. How should sisters who are aspiring, it's not inspiring, but aspiring to be stay-at-home moms handle criticism from other Muslim sisters who choose to have a career? I know how to do it. You know how you do it, sister? You tell them the hadith of the Messenger of Allah, peace be upon him, that paradise is at the foot of the mother, not the boss babe CEO. And when we talk about mothers, we're meaning mothers, not these part-time family people. Okay? She's actually being a mother to her child. So that would be your response. Paradise lies at the foot of the mother. And if you want to be a full-time mother and be the best possible mother that you can, which is going to be a full-time mother, because if you want to be good at a career, you have to do your career full-time, right? You have to be a professional at your career. And being a professional requires what? Full-time effort, concentration, dedication, commitment. It requires all of that. Why would being a mother be different? If I was a part-time project manager, would I be a good one? No, obviously I wouldn't. I would fall behind and be less than those full-time dedicated project managers, right? How is it different from being a mother? So I would say that's your response. Paradise lies at the foot of the mother, and I want to be a full-time mother. I'm not trying to be a part-time, part-time mother. If you're trying to be a part-time mother and a part-time career person, you know what you're going to be? You're going to be bad at everything. You're going to be bad at your career, and you're going to be bad at being a mother. And that's just real. So don't try it, I would say that's your response. Take that route with them. And obviously they're going to have their, their arguments against you and their statements, but I think that right there, rock solid, And I don't know why they would try and like argue that this is like something. I don't even see how that's an argument, to be honest. I mean, it's like, let's think about this. You are biologically designed for one primary function after the worship of Allah. What is it? Reproduction. It's like you literally can bring life into the planet by the grace and mercy and by the will of Allah, right? Why would you be a career woman? You're just not, what you're not going to be? You're just not going to be as good as a man. And I'm not trying to be offensive with that, but let's just be real. Men are good at building the world. That's what we do. And part of that is managing it, whatever else. I mean, so I think competing with men, going into the work world and competing with men, you're just going to be, you're not going to shine like most men. Now, yes, obviously you could be the exception, but it's rare. Most people aren't the exception. And that's the thing. You can go into the career world and like say, hey, you know what? I'm going to be an exceptional worker. But why not be an exceptional mom? You could. That's always a win. You know why? Because you're going to have a permanent, lifelong fan club of people who are always going to look up to you, always think you're the best, always appreciate you, and you're not going to have that at work. You know who those people who are always going to appreciate you, look up to you, and see you as the best no matter what you do, no matter how bad you do it? Your children. But you screw up at work, and guess what? Everybody's going to remember it. You're going to be that girl who couldn't pull her weight, or you're going to be that crabby woman, we know there's a different word for y'all when they don't like you at the work job. because you're being aggressive and assertive, like you need to be in the career world. There's a word they use for that, but we're not going to say it here. Synonymous with female dog. So, yeah, why would you subject yourself to that? You know, it's better to be a stay-at-home mom. It's way better. So, you know, that would be my whatchamacallit. That would be my argument. What time is it here in Germany? It is 9 p.m. This thing, man. I don't know why it's not working anymore. Can I get another one to work? That's too large. Sorry, guys. I'm making a bunch of noise here. I know. This thing's broken. It's no good anymore. That would be my response to them, sister. Yeah. I feel like the issue with career women goes back to the failure of men, whether that's the men's fault or not. I mean, I don't know. Feminism plays its role in this, you know. So I would say probably not. But I don't know. My tool is broken. I don't know if I can finish this job. Anyway, I can no longer justify siding with brothers on this topic of maher. Bros, you've lost me. I'm no longer on Team Low Maher Squad. It's just reality. Y'all run too many games. Y'all play too many games. The Muslims are just too cheap. Always trying to like scam, you know, rip people off. It's a mess out there. And so it's like, why would you be different with sisters? I have no reason to believe that you wouldn't be the same with sisters, because I have my personal experience with y'all brothers. And then if you look in the comment section of that post I put up on YouTube, look at all those brothers that are talking about the business that they've done. There's a sister on there talking about the business that she's done with Muslims. It's always the Muslims like running these stupid games, man, just playing games with people and their money. And there's no reason for it. You know, in my men's community, I talked about this same conversation. Everybody's in there like, yo, it's true. Why are brothers always running games? Why are the Muslims always running games on other Muslims? Why are we always trying to rip each other off? Why do we do this? We don't do this with like Chuck and Ted and Jake. We don't do that with them. We only do it to the Muslims. Don't do it to nobody else but the Muslims. So it's like, you know what? It's obvious that if you're going to do it to a businessman who's trying to survive, you know, maybe he's trying to get married, maybe he's trying to get a wife, then why wouldn't you do it to sisters? So, yeah. Sorry about that, guys. I hit the back button. I have like a back button on my mouse, and I hit it when I was trying to click on a comment here. I know some guys almost paying 100K. Bro, I do one consultation with brothers, and I can tell you, brothers out here spending a pretty penny on mahers. They're spending a load on mahers. And then when you like try and give them information, try and give them, you know, time, your products, whatnot, that are going to help him keep his marriage together. And you got to imagine, Jawad, they're spending this money on a marriage that's probably going to last like 12 months. And I'm like, yo, I could probably get you up to 16 months. Abuamerican will get you to 16 months in your marriage, maybe longer, because I made all the mistakes. I don't think there's a mistake you can make that I didn't make. And I admit it, I've made a lot of bad choices. If people say like, Abuamerican, you had so many divorces, how, you know, is that what makes you an expert? Yeah, absolutely. Because I made all the mistakes. And now, alhamdulillah, I've got happy marriages now. You know what? I learned from my mistakes. I didn't just keep on continuing them and then like, you know, blame everybody else. No. So I can tell you, because I've made the mistakes, I know what you shouldn't do. You try to give people that experience. And of course, you know, it's not even about the experience itself. It's about your time. You know, I like my time. Look at this. I mean, I'm doing this right here. I don't have to be on the show. I could be doing this. I enjoy it. I got stuff to do always. So, yeah, exactly. Yeah, different topic, but yeah, it's the same. So it's like then you watch how these guys behave. It's like, what do you actually value? So they got money. The Muslims have money, but when it comes to spending with other Muslims, they're cheap, they're stingy, they're closed-fisted, and always asking for a discount, always trying to get people stuff for free. I got a brother, I think he watches the channel, and I mean, it's like he's asking me for my products for free. And it's like he literally told me that him and another brother want to make like a course and their own product using everybody else's products. So he's asking for my products for free so that he could develop a product that he could sell. This is just one example. I've got hundreds, but this just past week, it's just broke my back. It's just broke the camel's back. Cat's always looking for a discount. Always looking for a discount. It's like, okay, look, if you don't value the product, just don't buy it. If you don't value the product, don't buy it. But it's like you do the same thing. You go into Chuck's store, the non-Muslim guy's store, or his products or whatever else. You don't value what he's selling. You know what you do? You don't buy it. But the Muslims, you want to try and rip them off. You know what? Yes, extract every penny. You know why? Because at the end of the day, she's probably not going to get it. If she asks for 100,000 maher, she probably won't get it. But she should try and get as much as possible because dudes are going to try and scam her for a low maher. 100%. This is just what I know of the brothers. This is what I know of brothers. They cheat and they always trying to like run game. So, hey, you know what? Get as much as you can, because you know what, that dude, all he's trying to do is get you cheap and easy. He's just trying to get something for free. So yeah, get as much as possible, because that dude's trying to get as much of a discount as possible, because you know what, he does that to everybody else that's Muslim. He doesn't do it to the non-Muslims, but he'll do it to the Muslims, and he'll do it to sisters too. If he'll do it to brothers and their products, he'll do it to sisters. Now, yeah, obviously you could say Abuamerican generalizing, but again, I encourage you to go look at the comment section on that post. Those of you who are in my men's community can confirm that the vast majority of those brothers who are in there doing business and are successful, they're dealing with the same problem. The Muslims being cheap, trying to rip people off and scam them. Why is it going to be different with sisters? I don't back brothers honestly anymore. Get as much as you can, sisters, because he's going to try and pull as much as he can out of you. And they're not going to appreciate it. It's like, yo, okay, fine. He's showing that he doesn't value you. I'm done. Salam, I'm 32, rebirth. I had no idea the struggle would be I would face trying to get married. I'm devastated. Any hope? Yeah, absolutely. Don't try and get married in the West. I hate to say it, but it's like sisters in the West. I mean, the way you're typing and everything, it seems like you are a native to the West. I would say just give up trying to find sisters in the West. I mean, none of my wives are from the West. I haven't married. I married one time. I married a sister out of the U.S. and it lasted like 2 weeks. They're a mess. They're messy sisters in the West. And obviously that's not all of them. You can't say they're all a mess, but there's so many that got just like these twisted ideas and concepts and behaviors that come from like actually living in the West that it's not worth messing with. So I would say stack your cash, follow the advice, get your money right, and travel. And when you get out there, you will see that there are amazing women out there. There are amazing women out there. But unfortunately, the vast majority of them are not in the West. So, that's what you're going to have to deal with, bro. You have to deal with like just, being that guy that everybody's telling you to be. Be high value, stack your cash, get your money right. And then the world will open up its pearls to you. You got to have the ability to actually just get out there and take advantage of what the world has to offer, but that takes money, I don't know if I'm turning this the right way or not. I think I am. Yeah, it's on discount now. It's like $30 off now. Get it now. I mean, I don't negotiate with brothers. When brothers like come with stuff, and they they have a product, they have a service or something, I'm paying full price, I'm not gonna negotiate with them for what? It's like he's a brother trying to make it. Why would I not want to see my brother win? I help a brother with his business, I pay full price. He can get married, he can make Hajj, he can take care of his family, he can do all sorts of stuff with that money. Why would I try and negotiate with them? I literally try and negotiate with Chuck, and I try not to negotiate with the Muslims. I look for an excuse to give them a tip or extra money. So, but that's me. I guess I'm a different guy, Assalamu alaikum, akhi. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How do you deal with the sisters, fathers, when wanting another wife? You mean like the conversation of like polygyny, I suppose you mean? Yeah, it's not going to work. This thing is broken. It's like a bearing puller, you see? It's like, it's got like this lip on it that's supposed to be there like this. You see the difference? How this one's tore up. I got to get another one of these so I can pull the bearings. This one's too big. I'm trying to get the bearings out of the jack shaft so that I can repair this one. I've got brand new bearings that I want to press inside here. These are like the press tools. You press it inside there. But this tool is damaged, unfortunately. I've overused it. I'm not really sure that there's a way to fix it. How unfortunate. How do you deal with that subject? I would say, is it necessary to discuss it? Give me the necessity for discussing it. That's the first thing. I mean, it's just, I'm going to use this word like this. I'm going to use the word institutional, but I mean Islamically. It's Islamically an institutional right of yours. Is someone going to try and deny it to you? Allah gives you a haqq, and now I'm negotiating the haqq that Allah gave me with you. Yeah, Abdullah. I mean, if somebody brings it up, do you plan on taking another wife? I'm like, hey, you know what? It's permissible to me. What man doesn't want another wife? I always bring it back as a question. Generally, when people ask me, about stuff like this, I just bring it back as a question on them. It's like, what man doesn't want another wife? Wouldn't you take another wife if you could? If you thought you wouldn't get in trouble, if you thought your wife, this is part of my cocky, funny thing. I'm like, if you thought you wouldn't get in trouble and your wife wouldn't make trouble for you, would you take another wife? Let's be honest with me. I'm not going to tell your wife, make it funny. It's like, I'm not going to tell her. Just between me and you right now. Tell me, would you take another wife if you could? And if he says no, give him that look like, okay, I feel. Well, I'm one of those guys that would, and I'd be honest with him. If I can get another wife, I'll take it. But, the reality is most men can't take another wife. It's just very difficult. So it's not to discourage anyone, but the reality is most brothers are not going to be able to afford it. So I would say, be honest. If they ask you directly, then be direct. Give them a direct answer. But anyway, I guess that's done. I got to order a new one of those tools. I got to find one. What is more likely to happen? Taking advantage of the low maher in a negative manner and use that to shame the girl. I got you cheap. I've never heard this before. I don't think that brothers that get a low maher, they actually say that, the woman is cheap. I've never heard that before. I've heard sisters say this, but I've never heard this from brothers. This is not a behavior that we know brothers do. I've never heard this. Have you ever heard this from a brother? That someone says like, oh, I got her cheap or whatever else, and this, that, the other. I'm just going to try and put, because I'm pretty sure it was that other bearing that was bad. So I'm just going to go ahead and put another bearing inside of here, and hopefully it's okay. I've never heard this. This is something I've only heard women say. I've never heard brothers talking about like, oh, I got this sister cheap, yada, yada, or I got you cheap. Maybe if he's in an argument, with the sister, he'll say and do something like that. This bearing might be bad also. Brand new. Maybe if he's in an argument, he'll say something like that, which would be rude. But sometimes, you get an argument, you lose your cool, you say dumb stuff. But women are known for that too. I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying that's the only time I can imagine a brother would say something stupid like that. Don't say something like that to your wife if she gives you like a cheap maher. Oh yeah, mashallah. Go ahead, check out the merch there, inshallah. uh, I know a brother who married someone from Morocco and said the women there are different. Different in what way? How can a high value woman find a high value man? I'm 18 and currently looking. Well, that's bad. I would say use your wali first off, and then be realistic. So two things. First, your wali. Your wali is he's gonna have a good idea generally of men. Men, we can generally smell other men's BS. Man, are all these things bad? That's the first step. Second step, you got to be realistic. And what do I mean by be realistic? Realistic is 18, a high value man. He's probably not going to be in your age group. He's probably not going to be 25 unless he's an exceptional dude. He's going to be older than 25. He's going to be pushing 30. So that's just realistic. It takes time to build your value as a man in your career, in your finances, in your body, all of that stuff that we tell men to do. All that stuff takes time. It's not something that goes overnight. That's why we're constantly hammering on to dudes, get to work right now. Because if you get to work right now, it's going to take you 2-3 years. Well, if you wasted your life and you're 35, that means by the time you start seeing results, you're going to be 37, 38. 3-4 years, almost 40 by the time the results start coming back in and rolling back in. So you at 18, you're going to be looking at a guy who's still building his value, because in your early 20s, nobody takes you serious. Guys don't take you serious, and then women generally don't take you seriously. They'll find you attractive. This is a good one. They'll find you attractive and whatnot. They might find you funny as guys or whatever else, or cool dude to hang with. But in terms of all seriousness and whatnot, the age group that you're most likely looking for. Okay, well, she's saying here she doesn't plan on marrying her age group. Well, then fine, you're being realistic. So I'd say use your wali. What happens a lot of times is sisters go on this search for themselves, trying to find a guy. And the reality is, most men know that women can be manipulated through their emotions. And that's not an insult to your sister. Don't take it that way. But generally, even women don't realize it. And this is why I say women can learn game. They can learn a man's game, but they're still subject to it. Because why? Because emotions are such a powerful force in women. So I would say use your wali, and that takes out this factor of a guy using manipulation to get you where he wants to. Because he might be a high value guy, he might not be. Most of the time, he probably not. But I think every man should learn the game. So it's a crapshoot. So use your wali, because he's not subject to the emotion. He's what do you say? He's not impartial. Obviously, if you're sister, your daughter or whatnot, he's gonna be like, yeah, okay, I want the best for my girl. But he is gonna be more objective when observing this guy. I got a super chat here. Alexander Abugatas. I don't know what that means, but okay. $5 super chat. Barakallahu Feek. I stacked my cash and hit KSA. The women move different. Wallahi. As far as the Ahi discount, I tried running BJJ programs here and local masjids and got that. There you go. I don't know what it is, man. I don't know why we try and rip each other off. It's the wildest thing. And then we complain about how the kuffar treat us, and these ones treat us, and that one treats us, and they're mistreating this one, they're mistreating that. We mistreat each other. Why are we surprised when other people mistreat us? We do not treat each other well. So why are we surprised when other people are mistreating us? It's just crazy. It's insane, man. Man, all the best, bro. I hope it works out for you. I've been hearing good things about sisters out there and whatnot. So, inshallah, you get yourself one. So now, if you ever get inside this type of work right here, mashallah, Makiti Jenny with a 18-pound super chat. Barakallahu feek. Show some love, gentlemen. Yeah, Barakallahu feek. Show some love. See, yeah, mashallah, Barakallahu feek. Brother showing appreciation for my time. I wish I could make your shows, man. I'm like so busy out here. Look at this. I'm doing stuff while on the show. MashaAllah. So let me see where we were in the comment sections. Here in the West, they have a smash and pass. No one cares. As soon as you say you want a second wife, people have a problem. What would they do? I mean, we're Muslims. What would you do in the time of the Prophet? Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. You gonna have a problem? Yeah, and people have been strange, man. I don't understand it. It's a weird thing. I'm living in the UK, London. The best sisters live outside London, i.e., Birmingham, Oxford, etc. Where do you think the best place to find a second wife today living in the West? That's a good question. I don't know, bro. I mean, there are good sisters in the West. It's just they're so scattered. It's so random. I did a video about women in London, though, and I don't really. Sorry, sisters. I don't have a good opinion of sisters living in London. I mean, that's not to say that you can't find good sisters living in London, but even if I wouldn't say lie, but do this. If you're going to marry a sister out of London, tell her you want to move outside of London and check her reaction. Because generally, a woman who wants to stay in London, there's something wrong there. I mean, why would you want to stay in London? I don't. It's such a. I mean, I get people are from there, and so that's your home city, and you want to stay there. I get that. You got family there and whatever else. But when it comes down to like just living in general, the best places to live are outside of major cities. And I actually did a video about r/k selection theory and how like it's r selected to want to live in a city. And if you don't know what I'm talking about with r selected, you're just gonna have to check the book out. It's r/k selection theory. What's up? Give me a second, guys. 6,008. What? There's only 2 kittens. Mm-hmm. That's not good. Yeah. Hey, look, it's got to be here somewhere. She must have taken it somewhere. I'm watching her brother's kittens, and there's 3 of them, and one of them's missing. It's like, so. Where's my stuff? My stuff is missing. Well, she must have moved it. That's what cats do. They move stuff when they don't feel secure. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I should be paying attention here, but. Just going down questions, guys. Give me a second. What do you say about Coach Kareem's statement, don't marry from back home and bring her to the Western country? She'll less likely change her religious standards. I've heard some stories, but again, this is so subjective, it's an individual thing. You got to marry just good women, you know what I mean? You have to do your vetting. The reality is you have to vet women, and that includes women in the East. No matter where you go in the world, it's not here. It's not here. It's not here. No matter where you go in the world, you're gonna have to vet the women. What happens is this is a bearing press. And so what you have is you have the different sizes here. So this is 6,002R. And then you have the 6,000. Where is it? Anyway, that bad one that I pulled out, it's a 6,002Z. And the difference between the 6,002R and 6,002Z is that the 6,002Z has metal walls on the bearing. There we go. So we get the difference here. So you see how this one's black? This has a rubberized seal on it, which protects the bearings far better. The silver one here, this has a metal bearing on it, and it lets dust in easier. Never buy, never. I don't care what you're doing, never buy the 6,002Z. Always buy the 6,000 R2S. So anyway, there's one of these things that matches the 6,002 RS. So when you push it in, you don't see how this is the wrong size. I don't care if you guys want to hear this, I'm gonna tell you anyway. So you see how this doesn't fit perfectly? How there's like a ring here? There's one that fits exactly the same size so that when you press the bearing in, it presses on the outer wall and it doesn't press on the inner wall. Because what happens is there's so much pressure when you're pushing the bearing in that it breaks and damages the bearing, and then you get like a bad roller inside of there. So you want to make sure you use the right size at all times. And I must have left the right size downstairs. So I guess I can't push this in. Oh, here's a 6,000 right here. What am I doing? So here's one 6,000. So here's the 6,000. Bang. See how it's the same size? How did I miss that? So now what happens is when you press the bearing in, it presses it in on the outer wall where there's no bearing. If you push it in on the inner wall only, what happens is the pressure is like on the outside wall and you're trying to force it in, right? But then your force pressure down is pushing only on this part. And so it causes the middle part to separate from the outer part. Don't want to do that. So anyway, you're going to have to vet the women no matter what. I would say if you bring, now this is something I said in a video a long time ago. If you bring the woman over, make sure she has family in the West, wherever you are in the West. If she doesn't have family in the West, I would say, yeah, don't bring her over. Because what happens is women do operate off of shame and social proof. You know, when women talk about slut shaming the non-Muslim women, who slut shames women? It's not men, it's us other women. And so it acts as a deterrent to bad behavior when she has family here that'll keep an eye on her. So I would say in this regard, go ahead, man. You know, bring her over, but just make sure she has family here. If she has a family here, then it's probably a good idea not to bring her over. And the family has to be a good family, because if they're not, then they're gonna like plot against you if she's plotting against you. See what I'm saying? Where did you go to get married? Indonesia and Somalia. I didn't go there, but those are where my wives are from. I wanted to marry back home, but I'm starting to question my own intentions. Women back home can be just as promiscuous. I don't understand that statement, but you know, okay. Here we go. They just move in silence and put on a religious front. Well, I mean, vetting, bro. It always comes back down to vetting. The responsibility of whether or not you get a good woman is yours. It's 100% on you. It's the accountability. Remember, I was talking, you know, when I say all this stuff about women and whatever else, you have to remember that I went through a lot of problems finding the right women. And a lot of mistakes, they were mine. You know, I didn't have accountability in the sense of like, you know, okay, I'm getting these women. Why is it still going wrong? And I've told the story a million times. And then I started looking at what I was doing, and I was picking the wrong women for what I wanted. You know, I was getting the prettiest girls I could find, and they're not always the best women. You know, some of these women, they're just plain out horrible. So now here I can't find a 6,000 because this comes in double set. So generally there's a 6,000. There's 2 of them on every kit. So now, because I can't find it, what I do is I take a big one like this, and our pressure goes actually on the jack shaft, and it doesn't go on the bearing inside here, because you can break that bearing from this side also. So you put that on there like that, and then you put your little spacer on there like that, and you put your little thingamabob on here like this. So the vetting is on you no matter what. Back home, not home, this never changes. More questions. What do you think is a good career for someone who wants to dedicate a large portion of his life to studying the religion? I've made peace with the fact that I probably won't be rich. Apparently, like all of these digital skills, you know, no, that's too big. All these digital skills are actually apparently something that's quite good. Like web design, programming. The brother who did my website, he got into crypto, and with crypto, he's over 200K in earnings. I mean, I would say that's pretty good money. You know what I mean? So I would say give that a try. Stuff like crypto programming, whatever else. I don't know what he does in crypto, but apparently it's good money. I mean, that's what he's telling me. He's coming up on 200K, you know, and he's been doing it for like, hasn't been long. He got into it like last year, and he was like doing web design before that. He learned a few things, a few skills, bam, got right into web design. I mean, into cryptocurrency, and now he's making like 200,000+ in less than a year of like going into crypto. Maybe it's a little bit over a year. Maybe I have to ask him again. He does that from home. He works remote, so you know you can study religion, go home, do your programming, whatever else they do, whatever you call it, and then bam, you make a whole bunch of money. There you go. You know, that's the thing. And the sister makes a good point. A lot of times what people want is they want these ready-made women, but you're not a ready-made man. You know, everybody wants the best, but who's willing to actually be the best? It's a lot of work, you know? So it's like, okay. And so the reality is, and this goes back to what I was saying, you know, it's all about accountability. I do blame some stuff on women, obviously, you know, that's obvious. But at the same time, you got to look at, like, you got to own your BS as a man. And The reality is, a lot of times we're on some BS as men. Let's just be real. I don't think this goes in any further. Why is it not going in for? Oh no, it doesn't go in any further. I'm sitting here trying to force this thing in here. So yeah, own your BS, guys. You know, hold women accountable, obviously, but at the same time, hold yourself accountable also. What does brother say? Crypto's dumping hard right now. Yeah, crypto's dumping hard right now, but dudes are still making money in it. I mean, so go ahead and make your money, man. You know what I mean? If you can get into it and make some money, why not? I mean, when I started hearing about, I made good money, but dang, I was like, yo, bro, like, what, 200K starting? Well, he just jumped in the career field. He just jumped in it, and he came out like right off the rip making 200K. I'm like, all right, man, I made some mistakes in life, obviously. And this is in a bear market, okay? And he's still getting offers to go around and like, do stuff. So here, let me see, we're on this side right here. So you see how the bearing's sticking out? So we turn this, you see how I just push it right in? Never try and use or never try and push bearings in without one of these tools. I knew it wasn't level. Look at this. It's not in there. Why is it not in there? Oh, now I gotta pull them all out again. I don't know. It's like something happened. It's like I guess when I was pulling it out, it started pulling it out crooked. And so now the bearing is not flush. You know, it's supposed to be flush with this line. It's actually supposed to be below it like this. So you see how that bearing's like deep set?
Oh, it's over there.
Yeah. You know what I'm doing? This bearing goes on this side. Look, I'm a freaking idiot. Look at this. I'm putting the bearing on the wrong side. Nobody saw me do that. I just did that on a live show. Guys, this stays between us, okay? Y'all tell somebody, we done. All right, we can't be homies anymore. If you tell anybody, you just watch me do this. Yeah, well, here's the thing. If you're working remotely, you can potentially escape taxes. This brother, I don't want to get into his business. Well, nobody knows who he is. I think his tax situation is a good one to where he's like, he's avoiding taxes half decently. And I would say, well, I'm not going to say anything about avoiding taxes. Let's just say he's doing well in regards to avoiding taxes. He's in my men's community, mashallah. He programmed my website. Yeah. I tried to use websites such as Pure Matrimony, and I had my wife talk to the sisters. The single sisters, most were single moms, weren't up for it and actually insulted my wife. Yeah, but see, this goes into your thing. Look, this is a delusional sister. Let's just be honest. Islamically, there's nothing wrong with being a single mom. This is why I don't say anything against it. If you want to marry a single mom, that's your business, But the reality is you have to be delusional to think that as a single mom, you're not disadvantaged on the marriage market. The only reason why they believe that is because there's so much thirst out there right now. Brothers are out there being mad, crazy, thirsty. And so they have this false concept in their mind of their marriage market value. And it's not as high as they think it is. It's like the brothers that are out here, and they'll tell you, if these sisters would just like talk to these dudes and and get an honest answer out of them, but they obviously can't get an honest answer out of them. A lot of these brothers see these single mom sisters as low hanging fruit. They're an easy target. They're easy, they're easy win. They're easy grab up. And so that's why they're going from them. But if they could get like the sister, the virgin sister, who's never, had any kids or whatever else, you don't think they do it? No, but they see the single mom as an easy target. So that's what they're doing. It's all game. But, if you tell these sisters that, then, it's bad for their ego. And there's a thing that like with modern women, including our sisters, they've got just these massive, massive egos. And so when you tell them the truth, they can't accept it. That it's like, you know what? You're not doing very well, It's like, you know what it's like? It's like those sisters on the matrimonial apps that are like 40 years old. You can't tell them that you're an absolute loser. You can't tell them that you are the exact same bum as like a 60-year-old man who has no money. And they are. You in 40 years of your life, you didn't learn how to get along with a man. You as a man with 40 years of your life, you didn't learn how to like get some money. They're the same bums on the opposite side of the coin. So these sisters are the same way. They don't realize that they kind of failed. And it is a failure. You're just gonna have to accept that, if you had this bad relationship, somewhere along the line, in terms of like vetting, you failed. It's not an obligation. I think it's better to mention it, but it's not an obligation. All schools of thought, all four imams, they agree that it is not obligatory for the man to announce that he has a wife to the wife that he's going to marry, nor to the wife that he's married to. It's not obligatory, but it is better. Back in the days, we used to listen to Sheikh Al-Anjari, Muhammad Al-Anjari, out of Kuwait. We don't listen to him anymore. And he had a talk that was called Ishratun Nisa, like meaning good life or good living with women. And the reality is, like, he's like, what kind of man are you if you can't like announce this to your wife? Are you really, I think it was, I can't remember what other sheikh it was. Another sheikh said, like, why would you hide it from your wife? It was a big one. I think it was Sheikh Uthaymeen, I think. And he was like, why would you hide this from your wife? It's like, if you have to hide it, then you're not the man for polygyny. So it's not obligatory to mention it, but it's probably better to. But I would say it's something that needs to be understood and not discussed. And when I say this, it's like what a lot of brothers do is they get the idea in their mind, I want to marry another wife. And then they they start bringing it up to their wife and they have zero prospects of a second wife. They haven't gone out looking. They don't have any serious prospects that are seriously interested in marrying them. And all they're doing is stressing this woman out. And then it puts her in a bad mood. And then she gets irritated, antsy, insecure, all these types of things, the emotions that they go through. And it's for nothing. And then I always say it like this. It's like, don't mention getting a second wife until you're ready to actually get married. Because all you're going to do is have the stress with your first wife of having a second wife without having the benefit of the second wife. So, yeah. Yeah, that's easy because it eliminates them from the picking pool. What you're basically telling them is that they can't compete. Listen, women compete just like men do. Women have competition anxiety just like men do. And then what happens is, you found it? That's like crazy. Where would the whole cat go? I hope she didn't take it outside somewhere. She jumped out the window earlier. Man. Well, she's gonna go find it eventually. So I guess just leave it. So it removes them from the ability to compete. They can't compete because it's gone. You can't be young again. They can maybe compete in career and money, whatever else, maybe family lineage and Quran or this, that, the other, which are all fair enough. But when it comes to youth, you eliminate her ability to compete. So yeah, of course. And then what tactic do they have? The only tactic that they have are shaming tactics. So she uses them against you. A lot of Muslims on TikTok openly admitting to using Musmatch purely as a source of compliments and validation. How long would you say is enough time to take the conversation off the app? Usually I have about like 3 sentences and then I shoot for the number. Otherwise, she's just on there exactly wasting your time. If she's not willing to give me a number within like the first 3, first thing I do is I do a basic test. I say salam alaikum. Most sisters, they don't even respond with the salams. It's like, yo, okay, I don't even want a woman who can't even respond with the salams. So that's one of my first tests. Then after that, I do some basic conversation, 2-3 sentences. Like, hey, yeah, this, that, the other. How's this? How's that? Okay. Well, I'm not on here much, and I'm really not on the apps much. I was like, maybe we should just go to WhatsApp. And if they're down, cool. If they're not, then I just leave them like that. From there on, I'm just like, I'm done. I'm not trying to waste a whole bunch of time. Oh, I need to get to know you better. I want this. I need this. Oh, yeah, okay, well, fine. You can get that with some other brother. I got stuff to do. I'm trying to get married. I'm not trying to have some like chit chat conversation relationship. I don't need a pen pal, So for me, the sooner the better. Generally, if they're not willing to give me the number within the first couple of sentences, they're not willing to give you the number at all. They're just getting your free non-sexual time and attention. And if you give it to them, well, then you're the fool. She put that cat outside. She put that little kitten outside. She's going out there like panicking and stressed out. She put her kitten outside. Pretty crazy cat. He said, don't use apps unless you're in the 1%. It's kind of hard. I mean, I agree with you. Use social circles, I would say use your social circles. It's still good. I'm not going to use it. I'm not really a fan of apps, even though, we have an app. But yeah, social circles are far better. Absolutely. Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. What to do if you married someone but personalities aren't compatible? Do you think that's divorce worthy or just marry another woman? The cat locked itself outside. Or just marry another woman with who you are compatible with. I don't like to give the advice to divorce. I mean, I was married to this sister recently, and there was just incompatibility. It just wouldn't work, And so I just let her go, before things got serious, before we actually, got physical and whatever else. I just let her go. There was another sister who was like that too, She had a problem with accountability. And so I let her go before anything came out of it. That's me. I'm not advising you do that. What am I advising, to be honest? Let me think about this. What am I advising here? It's a tough one, bro. Divorce isn't a joke, man. It's not something. I've been married and divorced a whole bunch of times, and I've never intended to be married and divorced this many times because that's not the lifestyle I came from. That's not the whoops. I came from a stable 2-parent household. My last relationship lasted like 26 years. It's not what I'm used to, like just jumping in and out of marriages. So I don't like to advise divorce because as many times I've been divorced, it's never been my intention to get married, and then think it's not going to last. Every time I got married, I was like, this is going to last. This is going to be the one. It's not the one, you know what I'm saying? I'm not like, some hopeless, helpless romantic. Guys, I got to let this stupid cat in. Why are cats goofy like this? Oh, this cat right in the middle of the show. I'm sorry, guys. This cat is like, I wish I could turn the camera around so you can see this just goofy cat on this window. What are you doing? Hey, look out. Don't fall off the roof. You'll die. What are you doing? Okay, sorry about that. Goofy cat. What are you doing? Don't look at me like that. You don't want up there being stupid trying to fall off the roof. Oh, well, maybe you'll live if you're a cat. You fall off there, boy. You're going to not forget that, though. I wouldn't advise divorce. I'd advise trying to make it work. Divorce is pretty serious, man. Because what happens is it changes everybody. It changes you. It changes her. And it's not for the better. The guy that was in a relationship with my ex-wife for 26 years, I'm not the guy that I am now. I have less patience. I have less patience. That's enough. I have less patience to deal with the BS of a woman. And every woman comes with some degree of BS because we're men and we're women. And although we're compatible, we're kind of not. And so the fewer relationships you have, the more patience you have. And these women, they always carry some sort of emotional scars with them from every single relationship. It never goes away. So everybody comes out of it for the worst. And it's so it's not advisable. I would say try and make it work, bro. Try and figure out what's going on. I'm not saying like break your back and become a whole different person in order to make things work. There has to be some sort of compromise in the middle somewhere. And if you guys aren't fighting, if you're not arguing, if you're not being ugly to each other, if intimacy is not being withheld from either party, you're not, you're refusing her intimacy and she's not refusing you intimacy, let it go, bro. If you're not miserable, it's just not a conversation. Just stay married, man. If you're miserable, okay, I thought that was, dude, I got these murder hornets outside, like this, murder hornets, and they fly at night. And so when they come up here on the lights, that's why I got the fans on and everything. It's all loud here because if you leave the windows open, they'll come in at night. And bro, I was up here like fighting 4 or 5 murder hornets by myself. I had like this piece of cardboard. I was like whacking them across the room. Ling Ling was screaming like, there was an axe murderer in the house. Dude, it was crazy. I wish I could have recorded that. Anyway, if you're not miserably married, just stay married, bro. It's not worth it. How do you drop you want to do Miss Sierra with a sister? I don't know. I never tried it. I don't know. I've never tried it. Just say it. I have to think about that, bro. I don't know. I've never tried it. Yeah, check out Mehdi. Mehdi's got like that service going on. You know what I mean? He probably has something for you there. There might be a sister available. Because there's sisters who are willing to sign up to anything. There's sisters who are willing to sign up to Polygyny. There's sisters who are willing to sign up to Miss CR. It's a matter of sourcing them. Everything's all a matter of finding them. So, should a 24-year-old prioritize home ownership before other assets? I don't know, bro. I'm trying to get Aaron Clary on here. That's actually a good question for him. So when I get Aaron Clary on here, ask him that, okay? That's probably something better for him because he's like a financial expert. So it's probably best to ask him. I'm going to have him on as soon as possible. There you go. So now you see how it's like set back a bit. And then what happens is you take this thing. This one's set back really far. And then this has like this right here. It's the rubber seal. And it keeps like dust and dirt out. You just press that in there. Boom. And then the other side, there's like, you see how there's like these like little threaded like holes in here. The seal is on the actual cog. You put it on there and the seal is pressed in through that cog. This is a jack shaft for a Suron motorcycle. I'm done. Full concentration. Do you watch UFC? Not anymore. I used to, but not anymore. I don't have time anymore. I always got something to do. And no. I wish I had time, but I don't. Actually, I just watch other stuff now. Oh, who am I lying to? I do watch some shows every once in a while, but I really don't have time. I usually sit with this laptop right behind here where you can't see, and then I do my work while I have the television on. But really, I don't have a lot of time for television and all that type of stuff anymore. The older you get, the more you're gonna realize, you just don't have time to waste with just brainless entertainment, And it's really what it is brainless entertainment. You don't want to waste your time with it, guys. So I generally don't spend my time watching a lot of this stuff. Although I do watch some of this stuff. I'm not going to lie to myself. Oh, you know what? I want to let people come on the show. If you want to come on the show, let me get the invite link. I was like, I'll go a little bit longer today. So here's the invite link. If you want to come on air, I wanted to do that today. There you go. Boom. Come and fight it out with me. Sisters don't need to be need to go ahead and collect their maher. Come and fight me. Fight me and tell me I'm wrong. There's the link. Join me backstage. Let's go. Anybody want to join? These things, they go on here like this, and you put this on here, but it's like, you see it's too short for the other side, so I'm like, I must have done something wrong. Yeah, I see what I did wrong. I have two of the same ones on here. So this 6005, and that's 6005, and 6004. Can you elaborate further on R/K selection theory? Yes, I can. 6002. Is that two 6002s? 6003, 6002, 6001, and then there's a 6000 somewhere. Yeah, I can elaborate on it. So, R/K selection theory. Basically, there's the theory that there are two reproductive strategies in every species, and these reproductive strategies are basically spray and pray, and then the other strategy is very intense paying attention, raising of their offspring. So example, spray and pray would be like frogs. So frogs will have 10 million tadpoles or however many tadpoles they have, and then, well, if you make it, you make it. If he lives, he lives. but if he dies, he dies. So they have a lot of offspring with the idea. I mean, they don't have an idea in their head, but the idea is that some of them will survive no matter what because there's so many of them, and so they have offspring and they're on their own. And then you have those that spend a lot of time raising their young, like bears, wolves. They spend a lot of time with their young, teaching them lions, teaching hunting tactics, how to fit in with communities and tribes and whatever else. And apparently they're saying that this exists within humans also, that there's the spray and pray, and then there is focus, and it doesn't have to do with how many really, how many children you have. Like if you have like a lot of children, but you have high parental investment with them, then that could be case selected. But if you have a lot of children and you don't have high parental investment, then that's R selected. And so R selected people, in terms of humans, they tend to be socialists, people who don't want to do a lot of work, they don't invest a lot of time or effort into their children. It's an entire mentality. And really, when you look at it, you can see that case selected people, which is high parental investment, which goes further than just parental investment, but it's the easiest measure to differentiate the two. They would be people that are conservative. And then people with low parental investment would be liberals. Now, what differentiates it is what you'll see is what's called in-group preference. Now, R selected has low in-group preference. Low in-group preference means if a sheep watches a wolf kill one of the sheep don't band together and say, you know what, we're going to build fences and we're going to put up like 10 sheep patrols and we're going to attack the next wolf that comes in. It's just like they'll sit there and they will watch another sheep get destroyed and just eaten alive. But if a wolf gets attacked by another wolf, what do? They band together and they fight as a group to protect their own. They have a high in-group preference. They protect their borders. They have territories. They have, entire sections of land that they protect, like lions, wolves, which are all case-selected animals. Case-selected animals tend to have a high in-group preference. They prefer their own to outsiders. And if you come in from the outside, they generally are very protective. You see this like in white countries. Those people, you might not like to hear this, especially the British, but that's a case-selected behavior. They don't like those muzzy foreigners coming in, you brown people. What's that Tommy Robinson wanker guy? He's a wanker. But the reality is that is a case-selected mentality. He has an in-group preference for his country and his people. And to him, those are white people. Now, obviously, you can play into this racism and whatnot. We as Muslims should have an in-group selected mentality also, which is Muslims. But it's not based upon race, it's based upon religion. You see, so we have a higher and a stronger in-group preference to our people, aka the Muslims, the believers, as opposed to out-groups. What's going on, bro? Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Abuamerican, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, man. I'm always good, bro. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. I entered your stream last week for the first time. I actually been listening to you for the past almost 2 years now.
Oh, wow.
I sent you a message about I came on to you via Rolo and reading his book, The Rational Male, and then I ended up accepting Islam, and then now soon to be married, alhamdulillah. And yeah. But as far as the Ahi discount, I've experienced that a lot, actually. I tried to run a jiu-jitsu and wrestling program over here in a local masajid.
Yeah.
And all people want to do is they want to run for like extremely low rates, which is like 15 an hour, like minimum wage essentially, for something that you have to get insurance for and so on. And pretty much they want you to do it for the ajr, and there's no benefit in that. There's benefit of ajr, but it's just not the way things work. I actually used to work over in Silver Spring, Maryland, where there's a high Jewish population. Manager was actually a Jew, and he told me about this relationship that Matthew was talking about, how the Jews don't cheat each other. They don't take advantage of each other the same way that you see brothers over here in the West try to take advantage of each other. Oh, I think I lost you. Or did you lose me? Don't know if I lost Abuamerican or if he lost me.
Okay. Sorry about that, guys. My computer just crashed. I don't know what happened there. It's like it literally just turned off. Crazy stuff. Oh man, what a day. So gonna finish this from the phone. I guess I'm gonna have to call this, guys. I don't know. My computer's just dead. Just crashed. I don't know why. It won't start up again. That was weird. Yeah, my computer's just sitting here and it's like it's not doing anything. It's just stuck in boot up mode. That won't boot up. Sorry about that, guys. Computer died. My Alienware is pretty old. It's like 5 years old. I think it's time for a replacement, unfortunately. All right, guys. Well, we've been on for an hour and 8 minutes. I guess this is a sign to call it. Barakallahu for tuning in, and I'll try and get this computer working again so that we can get live again. If it won't come back on, then I'll just get a new laptop, inshallah. Barakallahu fikum for being here. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We'll see you guys on the next show.